no, I honestly am living in a different mindset from the first call till now. And
Wow.
you explaining, step by step, session by session, I'm like, oh, I'm literally remembering and recalling, and I'm like, okay, that's why I feel more at peace inside myself. That's why I feel
Mm,
less inclined to avoid like discomfort or hard talks or conversations.
mm,
That's why I'm being more discerning and less tolerant of behaviors that I know I can't. Well, I think I could pretty much survive anything, but shouldn't, or it's not serving me in the long run. And so
right.
I'm becoming more comfortable weighing out when I say yes and when I don't, instead of saying, oh, I have to practice saying no, because no is uncomfortable for me. It's
Right, right.
really hard for me to say no. Um, and I think before we really got into it, I think session 2 or 3, um, somewhere around there, I was practicing saying no more. And it was coming across in a bad way. It felt inauthentic to me.
Mm,
And I was strongly fighting the urge to over explain. I have this going on, I have that going on. Or I have nothing going on, I'm just tired. Like
mm,
I just need a break. But I always felt inclined to explain. And that's when I was focusing on the no. And so now I put more weight on when I say yes, and I see the long term benefits of saying yes in the moment,
mm,
which makes it easier to say no because I'm like, wait, no, I only have a certain amount of yeses. I can't say yes to everything,
mm.
versus thinking, oh, I can say yes to everything, and it'll just be up to me to work it in the background. How do I
Right,
figure
right,
it
right.
out? And I just left my life insane. And it's practice, it's new and it's practice. But because we went through all of this work, me asking for help, which is still a struggle, it's a struggle. But being able to ask for help at work, understanding that even if the worst case scenario played out, it wouldn't be the end of my life. It's still practice, it's all practice, but I do feel it in my body. Before,
Mm.
it was just cognitive, it was all in my head. Like, I
Yeah,
know I
yeah.
need to do this. I know I would benefit if I did this instead of that. And it's just all in my head, just thoughts and just like podcasts reeling through my mind. And
Right,
now
right.
I feel like I'm embodying that persona of a person who feels comfortable in her skin to express herself authentically, to say what she means, say yes when she means it. And it's still like a work in progress, but I feel like the ball is rolling faster, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and no,
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that, honestly, because I feel like you've done the work and you've been putting the work in and you've been doing the exercises, and
Mhm.
I think when you put in the work, you see the results, and yeah, it's also just a great feeling for me because coaching, and I feel like you're exactly what I could have hoped that my clients could actually feel, and start to actually express themselves in alignment where their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, their behaviors are congruent, and they don't feel that internal resistance. That's what moving in alignment is about to me, and the fact that you are expressing that's how you are, like you said, it's a work in progress, but you're feeling like that, like you're on that path and you can feel it and you're seeing the benefits from it. That makes me very, very happy.
Good, good. I'm glad I could put it into reality for you. You're very talented at bringing up stuff and like sort of digging into the unknowns.
Thank you.
It's funny when you feel like you know yourself well enough or you're doing the best you can in a moment, and then there's these puzzle pieces you didn't even think to pick up, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
and then a week later you're like, oh, it's so much easier now. It's like
yeah.
parts of a car that you were missing.
Right, right.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
you're like pointing it out. Hey, have you thought about this? And it's like it makes life so much easier.
I think that's a great perspective to have. And honestly, just from hearing you talk, I don't know if you'll watch some of this back or not, but it sounds like you have so much. It sounds like you honestly have a lot of clarity in regards to um, where you're at and what steps you want to take. Obviously, we're all, always working, and everything's a work in progress. But I think it sounds like you have a lot more conviction around the steps that you want to take, and just knowing where you're at, and you sound a lot more confident, and more sure of yourself, and yeah, I think it's been a great thing for me to witness for sure. I think it's a great place to end off. But before we do, I'd love to ask you, um, throughout all the sessions that we've had working together, um, what would you say has been your biggest takeaway?
The Three Musketeers.
Easy,
Because
easy, eh?
it's so funny to give yourself permission to feel, to observe, to investigate,
Mm,
to act in a way that you feel is productive, even though in the past people have tried to get you to not do that.
mm-hmm,
Just do what they say, don't think about it, don't contest. It's it's weird, it's uncomfortable and freeing at the same time to
mm-hmm,
see positive results from the thing that you spent your whole life thinking was wrong with you, like. So I learned to quiet the reactor, I learned to quiet the responder, and it just became the contemplator that's constantly in my mind carrying
mm,
scenarios. So
mm-hmm,
it feels so good to not have that happen anymore. I'm sleeping better now. I'm not
mm,
over analyzing the words that just left my mouth. Like, did I say that right? Oh, was my tone off? Like, I literally am just so comfortable knowing, like, confident that I'll have an opportunity to say something if I feel it's necessary. I am
mm-hmm.
confident in my decision to speak up or choose not to, depending on the situation, versus always muzzling myself and then just
Yeah.
taking it home with me. I didn't realize how much of those situations in the past that I was just sort of replaying in my head over and over again. It was just taking up so much energy because your energy gets wasted that way too when you're constantly
Mm-hmm,
ruminating about what you could have said or should not have said. Now I'm more confident when I do speak, it means something. So
mm.
it feels so much better that way. Like literally, my whole body feels so much more relaxed than when I first started talking to you about this stuff. Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
amazing. That's amazing. I'm
Hmm.
so happy. I'm so happy that I could help you with that. And again, like you've put in a lot of work, and I know that I could tell, each session that you really are dedicated, and this really was something that you were taking seriously. And I think, the place that you're at now is just a reflection of how much work and the investment that you've put into yourself. So I commend you, um, on that, and I appreciate, your honesty, as well, because I know we touched on things that aren't always easy to discuss. I know that we touched on things that can feel uncomfortable, for sure, and
Hmm.
challenge you in certain ways where, you may not want to, not that you ever gave it off, but I'm sure, at times you felt like, oh, this is kind of uncomfortable or a little challenging, but you always
Yeah.
were always very, very receptive and open to it. So I appreciate that more than you know.
Hmm. Thank you. No, it was great. You pulled out the weeds. I've been sitting there forever, so I'm happy about that. You're great. Thank you, Miles.
No worries.